Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Profit Show, but a very special one because today we have a guest. And we start off with the question: can you take a simple platform, a simple yet powerful platform, like I'm using right now to do this show, and turn it into your very own traffic, subscriber, and profit machine? We're going to answer that question in just a moment. Well, welcome to a very special episode of the Content Profit Show. Speaking of the Content Profit Show, if you want to be in a content profit seat, look at there, Mikey, in a content profit seat. There's the link right down here, contentprofitseat.com. So there you go. Well, now, the man, the myth, the legend, the good friend, the good colleague, Mike Stewart, who's grinning because that intro music was his. He made that. That's my intro music and my outro music. Or an important tip I learned from Mike is it's the tip and the tail music.
Yeah.
And another important tip I learned from Mike is to plant your corn early. So, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Oh, that was played on that piano I see you just bought.
That's right. Did you like that one over my shoulder?
Yeah,
man?
I love that. I can't see it now, but
that's an expensive
nice
damn piano too. I mean, I have to have you over and play it sometime, buddy.
All right.
So today we're going to talk about how you can take StreamYard. We're using it right now and turn it into your traffic, subscriber, and profit machine, like Mike has, like I have, like an example Mike's going to teach us today. And so, Mike, buddy, take it away.
Well, we talked about, and I think you advertised that, so many presentations online and webinars, whatever you want to call them, were PowerPoint slide, PowerPoint slide, PowerPoint slide.
Yeah.
And I just, what, I'm over it. I said, what, I'm just going to show people exactly what happened with the very things that I use.
Yep.
So we can just, I'll tell you what it is over the last 6 years, one of the most profit generating content systems that I've done. I call it a system because it's a combination of a lot of things, but was starting a podcast and a blog in the pest control industry with my partner, Hal Coleman. And, it's funny. Hal said, I always wanted to do an online TV show with you. And I said, well, the technology really didn't exist until a couple of years ago. And I see all these folks saying hello. Hi, Rob. It's good to see that we actually are having people here live. We're actually recording and going live at the same time. So at any rate, I said, Hal, there's finally a technology that blows me away called StreamYard. My friend Daniel Hall showed it to me, and about 2 years ago, we used it. And I have watched this thing progressively just get better and better and better. And what I really understood in the last year, when it comes to creating content and doing interviews and making, eliminating a lot of the editing process. One of the things that intimidates and slows people down is when there's a lot of editing to be done. And what this is just enabled me to do for my business, and especially this podcast in the pest control industry, was the fact that we can produce the content, zero editing, and
editing. We don't need no stinking editing.
And on top of that, not only a podcast and a transcribed blog, but then we were getting YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook video content all at the same time, and using elements of television that I've been teaching for years, the 5 elements of television, which is lower third text, music, animations, multiple camera images. In other words, there's a whole lot of elements of television that you can't get in just audio alone or text alone.
And Mike, an example of what you're saying right now, we're broadcasting into StreamYard webinars, my Facebook profile, my Facebook group for Content Profit Show, my Facebook group for Content Profit Nation, my YouTube site for the Content Profit Show, and to Twitter.
So, at any rate, this just speeds up the process. And I don't know what that means.
Whenever I give the times for a show like this, I give Eastern, Pacific, and then some weird time. And so I looked up a weird, it's called Stinkhoek, is in the Netherlands, but it means stinkhole. And it's actually 6 hours ahead. So alert reader, Donna noticed that. Thank you, Donna.
Well, here's what I'm going to do today, as opposed to a bunch of PowerPoints. I'm just going to tell you what happened when Hal Coleman, my partner in the Pest Control podcast, because in the old days of the Pest Control podcast, we used to use other tools, and we were just doing audio alone. We weren't doing any video. We weren't using the elements that StreamYard enabled us to do. So I'm going to show you all those things inside of my StreamYard account, and how, in fact, to quote Hal, he looks forward to creating our 30-minute show twice a month, which we could do it more. But the bottom line is after 30 minutes or after 15 minutes, we've got a handful of content in the can. And of course, what that does is that content builds an audience that ends up becoming consulting customers and group coaching customers. And one of the things that I do a lot of here in Nashville is music production. I do something called a SERP term jingle in my content. And we have clients that get those jingles from us. So everything that I'm able to monetize that's in my world of passion has been enhanced by the power of this amazing, very affordable tool called StreamYard. So I'm going to turn off my camera because you don't need to see me. I want to show you what's going on. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my camera off right now. And then you need to share my screen. Now that is the infinite repeating of a screen.
Oh, so, very good Inception kind of thing.
Yeah. And, but that's not what we're doing. What we want to do is we're going to talk about, you should see the podcast that I've been doing for the last 5 years called the Pest Control. It's not Pest Control Marketing Gold. Actually, that's a mistake here. That's the one thing that's about live. It's the Pest Control Marketing Podcast. And
we make mistakes here on purpose, folks, so you can see veterans do it, and it's nobody dies. Okay?
So at any rate, why do we do this podcast? Well, it's content marketing. It builds a relationship with our niche audience. Podcasts, unless you do a podcast, an audio podcast, you can't get in Apple or Google. But see, you can see here, we're in all of the major distribution portals of podcasts, Spotify and whatnot. So in other words, we're getting people to subscribe to our content. And then, of course, we link to all our what I call monetization points, our coaching programs, our online workshops, our audios, our CDs, our group coaching. We do jingles, SERP term jingles for the pest control marketing. We've done live virtual events. All of that has been made possible from the fact that we learned StreamYard. So at any rate, we were doing this prior to StreamYard, but this just sped up and multiplied the ability to create content, which gave me the inspiration of doing what a product this past year that I called Streaming Content Creator. And basically, it's the story of the equipment and the tools that I use to create my content. So, I'll be honest, Jeff, this is my affiliate link, joinstreamyard.com. But if Jeff has one, he'll tell you what it is. But, StreamYard is the best online cloud-based software that I've ever seen. Then the second thing that I recommended and learned to do is, you need to know what equipment to have. And of course, to do StreamYard, we teach that, you need to get a good Logitech webcam. And they actually have 4K, but a high def, I have the C920. That's the one I use, been using for years. I have a good microphone. Look here, for $60, you can get a microphone and a stand. I personally use what the professional podcasters use, which is the Shure SM7B. But anyway, you can see here, you don't need to spend that kind of money. You can start with a $70 webcam right there from Amazon. That and nothing else, and you can get started. And what really opens the door with StreamYard is the ability to do, remote interviews, the ability to do easy recording, and then all of these branding television assets. So let's go ahead and log in. This is how I do a podcast with my partner in Georgia, which I could do a podcast. I could interview anybody in the world. If they just have a cell phone, I can get good quality audio and good quality video with using StreamYard, because StreamYard works with Androids, it works with iPhones, it works with iPads, it works with computers. You got an internet connection and a phone or a good webcam, you can make great content. So let me log out of StreamYard here just to show you what's involved of how I produce. And another thing that we're going to get into is that once you learn to produce it for yourself, you can actually manage other people's content and do it as a service. I actually do that for a lot of pest control agencies, managing their podcasts and their blogs through StreamYard. So anyway, one of the things I love about StreamYard is you don't have a password. They create a new login every time you log in. You get a login code. So even though you would go to my email here and see this login code right now, next time it's gonna change. But you see here, I mean, instantly they send me a number. So it's like everything should have that kind of secure password. But I thought that was pretty impressive that they did that. You don't have a password. It changes every time. So now this is what it looks like inside when you first log in to StreamYard. And it's just so easy. In fact, we don't even go live anymore, Jeff. We do everything recorded and program it to go live later. That way, it appears that it's live because we can program it to go live. But at the same time, we don't have to go live. We can record it, and we knock out a whole month's worth of content in an afternoon. So you hit this big blue create button, and you can either go live. See here, it says use the studio, meaning, doing what we're doing right now, go live, or a pre-recorded video. Well, what we do, and of course, they added webinars to the system for the upgraded account. In fact, that's what you're using for your webinars.
That's what we're doing right now.
So I usually hit the recording. That's the first step. So let's say this is, lots of times I'll just say podcast, because when you'll laugh at this, I never know what the subject is going to be until I start going live with Hal. I just say, what do you want to talk about today? And then he'll have some aspect of marketing. And then we talk from the heart. We talk from experience. We just have in fact, we are as scripted as I am today. So podcast,
as scripted as we usually are, right?
Yeah. So this is podcast. It's so easy. So today's date this is March, and I think this is the 7th. And
it is
2023. So in other words, and you can record locally, but generally I just do it for myself. So I hit create recording. All right. So StreamYard says, okay, you're going to make a recording. And now you can see there's my microphone is working, and I can see my webcam is working. Now, notice some things that I've done here in my background. I like having my awards hanging behind me so that people see my gold. In other words, that's all strategically set up so that my background in my office here makes sense. So I've entered my name and I enter the studio. Now, at this point, one of the things that I love about StreamYard is you can do multiple shows. They call them brands. So at this point, I'm going to go over here and I'll show you some of the branding stuff. Now, let's see here.
Folks, this is where I get things like the header for the show, the music for the show, other videos for the show, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. So here in the brand section, see, I've got it set up for several projects that I'm doing. So in other words, they let me have, but let's focus on what was the inspiration for all this. This is the brand, Pest Control Marketing. And in Pest Control Marketing brand, I can set the colors, I can make sure everything match, and I can create what I call production assets. So the first thing you do is you add yourself to the screen here. You see, so I've added myself to the screen, and then you can invite your guests with a special link, and they don't have the control that you do. You have the control. So I'll invite, my guest and get ready to go live. Now, here are the things that really make a difference is being able to create video clips that you can insert into your live performances. So like with us, with our podcast, we have a jingle intro. We have a commercial jingle outro. We have a midway commercial. So in other words, we have these assets of music and commercial production in the can. And then, like I remember I told you that one of the other assets is lower third text. So while I'm talking and doing our podcast for the video, I'm able to throw up all of these lower third texts. In fact, one of the things that Hal and I say all the time is 1,000 little things make the difference. So you see, as the video is rolling, I'm able to throw up these lower third texts that I've already pre-built, or I can build new ones as they're needed. So you can see it's just, you've got lower third text, you've got video clips, you've got, you'll laugh at this. This was me and Hal when we first met each other in our 20s. So that's what we looked like 40 years ago. We put up a page about a QR code about our free book. So you can see there's just so many things that StreamYard just makes it like a television station. You just have the ability to when you learn how to control this thing, you can just make some amazing video content. But if you learn to always remember that you're doing audio only, never say something that's not clear if they're not seeing the visuals, then what that enables you to do is you're making your podcast content. So
Mike, one of the things I do, because I start the Content Profit Show in video here like we are, but I make sure we talk about, I mentioned that, if we're showing people something, where the people can get it. Okay, so if they're listening on the podcast, you need to go to ... .com to get that.
Well, lots of times we'll say, hey, this show's brought to you by domainsyourcontrol.com and .live secrets.
Exactly.
If you want to, you can see here, I pre-built a lot of lower third text. Like we give our pest control book at how you'll love this domain name, how to grow a pest control business.com is a free book on, guess what? How to grow your pest control business. So at any rate, my point being is that StreamYard in real time, as you're making this content, lets you do visual content, lets you go live, lets you program to go live. It does all of those things. And then of course, one of the things that, I talked about is like, let me play our SERP term jingle. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this. I don't know if the audio will come with it, but maybe it'll come over my microphone, but I'll play this quick intro here.
That's a lovely intro. We're imagining all kinds of lovely buggy things.
Well, let me ask you, did you hear that?
No.
You couldn't hear it? Okay.
No.
Well, that's because StreamYard, there's a way you have to set it up to get the audio, and it just, we didn't do that. But anyway,
we just demonstrated a way not to do something.
Yeah. Okay. But the main thing is the Google says Google Pest Control Marketer. Okay. 3 words. And you can see here that we're number 1 organically. That's a paid ad, but right there, we're number 1. So that jingle every week says Google Pest Control Marketer. and it teaches our audience how to find us in search engines. That's a SERP term jingle. So anyway, that's why we play it in every piece of content we create with StreamYard. And, we end it with that. And then, of course, we run ads that tell people about the different services and products we do. So with all that being said, we go straight through, no editing. If we had to do editing, we would, but we hit the record button. And then, if we hit the record button, it's just like this. And we would start the show with this. And we'd come on, we'd do our show, and then we'd say, that's it for today. And then we play. There's our end jingle. And then we hit end the recording. And then once we've done that, I think it's funny. They always say, how'd it go? And I always say good and not now. And now when we go back to the dashboard, you hit here in past. And what I love is, like, in fact, there's the February podcast that I'm getting ready to post. These are all of them. I titled them after I figure out what we're going to do.
This part is so freaking cool, Mike.
You hit download recordings, and there's the audio for our podcast done with all the stuff we needed. And then there's a download the video.
This is how I do the live cast, folks, 3 times a week for the Content Profit Show. Download the audio, put it into my Captivate podcast machine, and it sends it out to all the main podcast sites. And I'm talking that's done like 5 minutes after I say go use this stuff at the end of the Content Profit Show. That's done.
Well, and like I said, we recorded on one date, and then we programmed it to go live another date. In fact, I've got 2 here I got to do in the next day or so. But what happens is once we program those recordings, they become YouTube content, and there it is. So there's that video, and if you looked at our YouTube channel, I mean, we have been. I mean, look at all the shows that we've done. We're just constantly, and it's such a niche audience. It's not for everybody. It's going after pest control owners. But we used to do this stuff manually. Now StreamYard makes this just a no-brainer to do it. Now, this is another feature about this. Just remember, we set up the show, we record it, and then whenever I'm ready to download the show, I go to download recordings. And in fact, I'll download one here real quick to show you how quick it is. It takes it about a minute or 2. And as a recording engineer, I'm amazed at the quality of what this does through the internet. If you've got a good microphone and your guest has even a good phone connection, the quality is really amazing. But even if you don't have great microphones, the microphones and webcams are pretty acceptable. So anyway, that's rendering because I hadn't asked it to download that, but I'll show it to you here in a second. It'll download here in a second. Now, this is one of the things. When you become a member of StreamYard, I get other clients to become members. And like, this is one of my best students. This is an 84-year-old professor, great, a PhD, an amazingly talented man who's willing to learn to use all these things. And, he just keeps going over how fun and how easy it is to do these interviews and post them, in Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
So what you're saying, Mike, is just like I taught 9-year-old Duke to catch a Frisbee today, you can teach old dogs new tricks.
Absolutely.
All right.
And so anyway, with all that being said, he goes live to Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and then he pays me to go in and download his audio recordings. So I'll find here's Dr. Mark Zupo, somebody he just interviewed on the 1st of March. And so I can download his audio, transcribe it, and he pays me to manage his podcast and his blog because he doesn't want to. So you can actually, with StreamYard, get a service business that pays you good money to do the very things you do for yourself, but you do it for others. I've got several clients that I'm doing it for, and I'm to the point where I'm almost, I don't like you, Jeff. I like having systems I sell, and I've only got so much time. But I'm just saying, it really is a nice boost to my income. Being able to, what you do is you can have somebody add you as an administrator of their StreamYard account, so you can go into their account and get their content. So I don't have to do anything to get content. All I got to do is here's a pest control agency that is doing podcasts about bugs, and I manage it for them. So it's just, you have the ability to do so much with StreamYard. Let's see here. What else were we going to talk about? We've been, I didn't want this to be extremely long today. Maybe we could take some questions, but the main thing that you want to be aware of, the equipment you use, the recording steps, doing interviews, learning to use the branding techniques. Oh, one of the things that I did discover, and I want to share with you, is that, like my animated intro that I did for my intro and outros, I used Canva. Did you know you can make Canva videos that are animated? So I teach how to use Canva to make those assets, those intro and outro assets.
You do that in the course?
Yes, it's in the course here.
Oh, cool. I missed that.
Well, at any rate, it doesn't matter how you make the things. It's just, that's what we started doing, and that's what what I was teaching in this course of
Mike, can I give them an example of how I use it with my stuff?
Sure.
Okay, right. I'm going to tell you the big one in just a moment, but how many of y'all, just say yay or nay in the Q&A here, how many of y'all received a video from me last week that showed the result of Denise Wakeman being one of the guests on the Content Profit Show? I showed her whole diagram, and I was talking to all the people that had been on the Content Profit Show. That video, remember, Mike, when you had 87 steps, and even with using not Canva, Camtasia, you still had to upload it and download it and move it. Blah, blah, blah. With this, all I did is I turned this on. I hit record. I made sure the screen was over here, and I just walked the people through a 6-minute video. Boom, 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 boom. Wendy received it. Thank you, Wendy. That's a simple way to use it. The regular way I use it, week after week after week after 3 times a week, is I start the Content Profit Show straight up at the hour. We do 20 minutes. Okay? And then I talk with the guest afterwards. Right. And then as soon as we're done, I'm taking that audio and placing it in Captivate. I've already set it all up. Peg saw that too. Hey, Peg, I know I owe you a DM. I just saw that today. I will do it. And it goes all over to Apple, all the places. And then if I want to replay, let's say that a couple of times I've had a guest flake at the last minute, like people will do, right? And I wanted to still do a show. So I've come in here, gone to the past shows, and set it up to do a replay, a reshow, okay? And nobody knows the difference. It's like I call it my best of. I put the best of in there. There is just so many things you can do with this. And then, folks, take the audio or the video and have it transcribed. There's your articles, okay? Another thing I do, thanks to these guys, is I write an article about everybody's show, and I include the podcast and I include the live cast, okay? Illumination might just open up a new subpub instead of pub sub like Sublix, like Publix sub sandwiches. It's sub pub, and it's Illumination just for podcasts and videos. Okay, I put one up there today, and so really, folks, we're just kind of scratching the surface. Donna asked if you have 50 hours of recording storage. Is that the basic or pro plan? I've got it on mine, Mike. Do you have it on your?
Well, it's the basic plan. The free plan has, I don't think you can record with the free plan. and the pro plan has webinars in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm paying $20 a month for the basic plan,
And I'm paying $40,
yeah,
40 bucks a month,
yeah.
for the pro plan. And she says, where do you store shows beyond 50 hours? That's when you go in. Here's what I do. If I know a show or something I've done is already up and I can get that link, then I'll get rid of what's on here. So I've never gone by 50 hours. You just go in and purge, like you purge people that you're not following anymore on Facebook or emails you don't want to get anymore. That's all.
I usually clean it up about every quarter.
Donna always has questions. Mike, remember
I love that. Thank you.
I do too. Is it push button to have host and guest both on a split screen? Watch this, folks. Okay. Because now it's just me. And Donna, I want you to notice how long it takes to get both of us back up. Okay. And if we wanted to be smaller, we could do like Steve Martin and say, let's get small. Okay?
And you can grab, you can click my face and switch sides.
I pretty much comfortable with my sexuality. I don't want to.
No, I'm just saying. Have you ever, I do it a lot.
I did not know that. Can you do that?
Oh, yeah, I can't because you're in control. But if you click on my face, you can drag me to the left and it switches us.
Well, I did not know that.
Well, I want to show you. It's amazing. And then of course, when you're sharing screens, I mean, like for instance, if I shared my screen, let me share my other screen over here so we don't get the what I call the tunnel of
the inception effect.
The tunnel of infinity. Like, okay, so now
I just allowed Mike's screen on. Okay.
Okay, now that's my monitor over here on my left.
Yeah. Now listen to this, folks. Okay. You can show it like this, where it just gives a preview of it. You guys see me do this all the time. Then you move it to here, or over there. Then you move it to here, where it's down here. And then if you want to show your complete screen, you do that. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, the controls, and in fact, I love Wendy's question. Does StreamYard have a training on all this? No. This is where you got to go to streaming content. See if I can type this and not look at the screen. You need to go to streaming content creator.com/Jeff. And you're going to know that it's the right place. It says, welcome friends of Jeff, because that's the way you do things. There you go.
Folks, catch this. Okay. Another way to do that, I'm going to go and I'm going to hide Donna's comment. And I'm going to go over here to the banners and look what comes up now. Boom. There's the link. Streamingcontentcreator.com, Jeff/Jeff. This is not hard to do, folks. It's clicking buttons. Okay. That's all it is. And just knowing what buttons to click, which is why you want to take Mike's course, because it shows you what buttons to click.
Well, why don't we take more questions? Because I didn't want to, I think people are tired of those 2-hour webinars that just feel like all you're doing. Hopefully.
That's why we're going for 3, right?
No, we're going to, I've shown you the basics. It would take hours to teach you step by step what to do. That's why I built it in the course. It was inspired on Jeff and Daniel Hall and myself using this. And then when Dr. Bill Lampton, God bless his soul, I mean, he was trying to do this with Zoom. And Zoom can't do this. Zoom
has aged him 10 years. He's 94 now.
Zoom became popular
Zoom.
Because of COVID. Yep. It's a great meeting software, but this is a great television software and podcasting software.
Ooh, nice distinction. Say that again, Mike.
Well, StreamYard is a television podcasting recording tool, presentation tool. Zoom is just a business meeting for up to 100 people. And I have Zoom. I like Zoom. For coaching calls, it's fine. Yeah, Jeff tells me he does coaching calls with StreamYard, which I could, but that's okay.
I don't do anything paid on Zoom anymore.
Okay. Well, there you go. So at any rate,
what we want you to do is ask your questions. I asked everybody, did you notice how quick we could do this? And where is it? Oh, come on. Donna said, no, that's another thing she said. She says a lot. She said it was so fast, Mike, it was lickety split.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Donna, this is a good question. I like this.
It is.
I know you, Riff. How would you use a teleprompter if needed? Have you moved beyond the redneck teleprompter? Well, yes, I have moved beyond the redneck teleprompter. I used nothing
Good memory,
today.
Donna.
I used what I believe, and I purposely didn't prepare anything because I wanted this to be like a conversation with friends.
Yeah.
But yes, a redneck teleprompter, and there's lots of iPad, iPhone teleprompters. You know, it's a skill to use a teleprompter, Donna, and it's a skill I don't want to develop. I know people that can read a teleprompter and not sound like they're reading. I don't know that I have that skill, so that's why it just never was interested in me. But there are plenty of teleprompters because at the end of the day, your webcam is your television camera, your phone is your television camera, and as long as people don't see your eyes moving and you're able to keep your eyes on the lens of the camera, and a teleprompter makes you make content better or faster. But in my experience in doing podcasts and doing interviews, I just have my note cards with my questions and
Yeah.
and do what I'm doing with Jeff right now. Just
I think a teleprompter makes it harder, and the risk is somebody can mess with it, like on Bruce Almighty, and then the reporter is saying, and my tiny little nipples went to France. Remember that, Mike?
Vaguely.
Vaguely. Well, now everybody's going to remember it because Jeff just said it. So live. But Donna, I've known people. I've partnered with people that bought these mega professional teleprompters, and that drives me crazy because I'm like one take Jeff. I just stand up and do the thing, okay? And I find people to relate to that better than something that looks slick, okay? Oh wow, nice comment, Peg. Today is the anniversary of the patent for Alexander Graham Bell's invention of the telephone back in 1876. We've come a long way. Not only that, Peg, but we've come a long way from when Mike first had, what was that little, what was it, software or a plug-in thing you did that had like 87 steps to it, and I'd call you up cussing and screaming and frustrated, and you tell me which step I missed. Do you remember, what did you call that?
Well, there was back in the day, everything was done with Flash, and there was Flash video players, and it had, you had to take your video out of your camera and you had to convert it to a streaming format, and you had to and there was a whole lot more steps, and all that's gone away. I mean, that was 15 years ago. But you know what? Online streaming video has not gotten any less. I mean, the streaming television networks are the leaders of today of television, and the things that I like to see is the parallels between what we do to build relationships with potential customers, using technologies, bridging off of the strategies and the techniques of television that have been around since the beginning of editing film and shooting film.
And you make a good point about streaming for TV. I think Blue Bloods is the only show I watch when it's on. I force myself to stay up Friday night, not fall asleep, to watch it. Everything else is streaming somewhere. And then you do binge stuff. Let's do this, kids. Okay, we got a lot of people here with a lot of different niches today. So the first person who can type in their niche that I see, Mike and I will kind of do a little impromptu. Mike doesn't even know we're doing this. He's going,
Okay.
What's Herring doing now? A little impromptu thing about how you could use StreamYard in your niche. Ready, Mike?
Okay.
Donna says marketing. Can you get a little bit more specific? What kind of marketing? While we're doing that, folks, Mike's asking, can you post a recorded video but answer to the comments on real time?
Yeah,
Yes.
if you want to go live with the recording, sure.
Yeah. Okay, Peg says digital marketing. Okay, I'm gonna make you work here a little bit, Peg. Digital marketing to who? Who are you marketing to? We want to get as specific as we can to show you how well this works. Digital marketing to the ancestors of the lollipop people from Wizard of Oz, or what? Come on, Peg. Drill a little deeper for us. Entrepreneurs who are too busy to do their own marketing. So, digital marketing, Mike, to entrepreneurs who are too busy to do their own marketing. How could Peg use StreamYard?
Well, I mean, the fact that we know that content builds relationships,
I've heard that.
doing demos of unique ways of using software technologies. I mean, the
Isn't that what
all the
we're doing
rage,
today?
huh?
Isn't that what we're doing today?
Well, that's what we're doing today. I
Yeah.
mean, the thing that kind of took me back a little bit is I wanted to share with folks that, hey, this is what I'm doing. If you don't know how to do it, I organized it in a training because I have if you scroll the page, well, I think it's me scroll the page here. If I scroll the page down, I'm selling this for $100, but I'm selling everything I have for $20 a month. You'd get this and everything I've ever created, over 800 tracks of music. Um, you know, I mean, we're not talking. You spend more than this at Starbucks.
Yep.
It's all. This is all about when I see a tool as powerful as StreamYard, and I see the proof that Dr. Bill and my bug companies and myself are using this tool to create content that builds relationships. One of my focuses here in Nashville is I'm teaching famous music art. Like Sawyer Brown is a client of mine now. They were a '90s country band, huge in the '90s, and they're realizing that they're reaching their fans with content, and then they're able to tell people about what makes them money. Well, what makes a band money? Live appearances and selling merchandise. Well, that's the same thing we used to do as speakers. It was live performances and selling products. Hey, it's all about, if something is a roadblock to making content and somebody figures out a way to lift those roadblocks, that's all this is. So rather than having a PowerPoint presentation with a bunch of, this and that on it, I just went into the real thing that I'm using, showing you that it's not made up, it's real. And I just hope
So,
people see that.
so Peg, I got a question for you. If I give you $1 million answer to your question, you already said you're in. So great. Thank you for Mike and I thank you for that. But if I give you $1 million answer to your question, Peg, will you become a guest on the Content Profit Show? Yay or nay? What I want to do is I want everybody to learn this. Peg says absolutely. It's a bonus just for being on this show, whether you're live or on the recording. And yes, I'm going to do a training on this someday. Okay. Here's what you do with StreamYard, Peg. You pick something within digital marketing for people that don't have time to do their digital marketing. Okay. And you create a show. Okay. You do the live cast on StreamYard. You have them come on as a guest, and you do a little piece of digital marketing for them. You do a demo for them that they can take and use. Okay. And then when you're done, before you even start, you hook up StreamYard to YouTube. Okay. And you have a YouTube channel just for that show you create. Okay. And it's already over there on YouTube. When I'm doing my Content Profit Show using StreamYard, I don't have to do another thing to have that show over on YouTube. It's there, okay. And then you take the audio, right? you do it as a podcast. So now you've got a podcast and a live cast for digital marketers that don't have time to digital market. Okay. And God, no, I'm not going to share that till the course. Okay. So, Peg, go with that. Anybody else that wants to run with that, it's a great way to do it because, folks, what we're learning as people that have done, Mike, take a wild guess at how many. I mean, what is it called? What is it? Wild ass. Take a swag. Yeah, take a swag. You know what that stands for?
No.
Sophisticated wild ass guess.
Okay.
Take a swag at how many webinars you've done. Ever.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Shoot, 500 probably.
I'd say a whole lot more for both.
I don't.
Together, we've probably done thousands.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't. It's irrelevant.
You know what? I asked that question to make a point, and now I've lost the point. So help me out, Mike. Here, bring me back. Bring me back. What was I talking about? Webinars, recordings.
Oh, you know, we probably ought to get on the questions.
You know, I got it, Mike. It's setting you apart. Okay. One of the things we learned from doing all these webinars is the power of demonstration. Okay. You know who learned that first? All the infomercials. You know, when they would take those Ginsu knives, Mike, and cut open the cans, right? The power of demonstration. What I'm doing using StreamYard, what you can do using StreamYard, Peg, and everyone else, is do the power of demonstration to sell your products and services. I mean, it's crazy not to do this, and I'll tell you why after I give Mike a chance to talk.
Well, the thing I want to get across, you need to create content to build relationships. Yes, you can do demonstrations. You can teach. You can sell. You can do pretty much anything imaginable. And I'm not here to tell you what to do for you. That's your decision. In fact, I love this. I don't go to Starbucks. Well, hey, you spend $20 on something, so it doesn't matter about that. But you know, who's your audience? Are you connecting with them to prove that you're the person that they trust to do business with? And we found out in my niche of pest control and in the music industry is when you know how to do something others don't, then and you master tools that make it faster and easier. See that I used to know how long and painful it was to do some of the stuff. Therefore, I didn't do as much as I should have because it was time consuming, because it was hard, because it didn't work. I mean, you know, Hal wanted to do a live TV show on the internet 8 years ago, and I said the technology doesn't really exist to do it to where it doesn't look bad. But now, you know, this tool blows me away coming from production standards of television from 30 years ago. And so this is how I make my podcasts. This is how I make my video sales letters. This is how I make my training content. Everything I do these days online, when it comes to online audio and video and blogging and content creation, I'm using this $20 a month tool. And that, rather than having a presentation showing you, you know, what it's like, I wanted to show you it.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing Thursday for Cindy Bedar's six-figure systems mastermind group, and I'm doing the same thing we did today, but with Medium. Like, can we scroll through this page and talk about what the people are getting, and then the two options?
You know, well, here it's even better. I've logged in here.
Oh, my goodness.
I've got the start here is there's a video where I have an overview. How do you think I shot the video for the overview for this training course? StreamYard. Okay. I tell you how to get a StreamYard account and which one to get. I talk about if you don't know what equipment to get, you know, I went over that and I talk about the benefits. You know, is budget no object? You know, well, then get what the pros use. These are the kind of, that microphone right there. All the big podcasters, all the big time podcasters, you can see their videos on YouTube. That's the microphone they use, but it's a $400 microphone. You know, you don't need to spend that. You can get a $70 webcam and do the same thing. And then I go one by one, step by step, you know, how do you get in and record with StreamYard? How do you invite somebody to a guest interview? And in fact, I think I used you as the test dummy on this. If I'm not, if I don't.
Yeah, you did, and I didn't know we were going to be live. I thought you just wanted to test something like we do sometimes.
Well, we weren't like we were recording because
okay, well, it's the same thing because I had just worked out and looked a mess, and all of a sudden I realized, oh, people are going to see this.
Well, let's see. What did you? There you go. That was the day you were there. At any rate, and then banners and tickers are lower third text. A very important part of television is banners and tickers or lower third text. Then branding assets. What are branding assets? I talk about all of that. And one of the things that you have the ability in television. This bottom row of little switches. That's called a switcher in television. That's what the director, he switches cameras. In fact, I think when I started with StreamYard, you could only use two cameras at once. Now you can have 8 guests at once if you want to. You don't need to, but you can. It's really gotten better and better. And then I found out that, I'm a big fan of Canva. If you don't have Canva, what an amazing tool. But Canva.
And Mike, speaking of tickers.
Oh, yeah. Well, there, see, you go. He threw a ticker up there. That's a lower third ticker to let you know how to find this. So, and then screen sharing. That's what we're doing right now. It allows you to share PowerPoint. You can actually upload PowerPoints. I mean, it's just amazing. And then if you did want to edit it, you got a great thing, but you said some things that you wish you hadn't have said. Well, you can edit it in Camtasia. There's some limited editing in StreamYard, but I don't think you can do internal edits. So that's why, if you want to salvage something that you got to edit something out of, let's say you call Jeff an insulting name that would get you sued. Well, you might want to edit that out. Anyway, and
it happens.
10 examples of things. So anyway, this is just my way of doing things. And then, of course, if you get the Everything Club, you're talking about a $20 investment, then you got access to all these other trainings I've done over the years, plus 800 cuts of royalty-free music.
Let me interrupt and slow you down a minute because we're almost at an hour. We're going to wrap up soon. I want you to look up here, folks. I want you to listen. Okay? And here's what I want you to hear. Okay, Mike, scroll down to the bottom. And then we'll pay attention to what Thomas just said. Scroll down to the bottom where it shows the 2 prices.
Do you know who that quote is from?
I absolutely do. One of my buddies. Yeah. We'll talk about that in just a minute.
What do you want me to show?
Show the 2 options to come on board.
Okay.
Folks, you can get the entire streaming content. I said it. See, screaming. How many of y'all remember or are old enough to remember a candy called Screaming Yellow Zonkers? Screaming Yellow Zonkers. Let us know here in the chat. Because from the moment Mike came to me with streaming content creator, that's all I think of when I hear it. Okay. Streamingcontentcreator.com/Jeff. Okay. You can get it for $97. Okay. And it's a great thing. If all you want to do is have this, if you don't want to be part of a membership. Okay. Now, what you could do, and I'm watching my watch. That's kind of meta, isn't it? I'm watching my watch do all the clicks with the orders coming in, all the PayPal announcements. If you do the $19.97 monthly, you get this course and all this. What is it, Mike? Every course you've ever made.
Yeah, that's still good.
Again, it's still good. Okay. Every audio that you've ever created, right?
Yeah, a royalty-free music track.
Royalty-free music. You get you get to go to your online live event yearly, free, right? Mm-hmm. Am I leaving anything out?
No. If I do it online, then the Everything Club folks always have access to it.
Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. And folks, I wasn't planning on doing this, but it's Mike, so I'll do this. Whichever way you come in. See, and what I'm trying to say, oh yeah, and Donna says, and Mike's Christmas special. That's how we got to be friends. Most everybody knows that story. It has a little bit to do with Christmas Vacation, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Anyway, what the hell was I saying? Oh yeah, because it's Mike, okay? I will add my bonus. It's a $497 bonus that I sell for $197. Okay, I give people the $300 off. You're going to get it for free. Okay, you're going to get a seat on the Content Profit Show. You're going to get a Content Profit seat where you can come on, and you'll send me a piece of content, and we will take it and repurpose it into a profitable digital product in 20 minutes or less. How's that for a bonus, Mike?
Hey, you're being generous. Make it clear to Peg here. The 97 is just for streaming content creator with no monthly commitment. However, you can get it for $20 and have access to everything. And I'm gambling that you're not going to cancel the first month. You know, quite honestly, if you're going to do that, don't bother. Be honest with you.
Well, you know, the thing of it is, yeah, that is a bonus, Peg. Thanks. The thing of it is, Mike, you ever heard of this thing called entrepreneurial karma?
Yep. Yeah, I've heard of it.
That means if somebody were to come in your group and just stay a month just to get this thing for lower than the 97, that you know what's going to happen? Other people are going to do that to them. Okay, that's entrepreneurial karma. So
well, and more importantly, you're going to have to make a commitment to use this stuff. It's one thing to get it; it's another thing to use it. So the second option just makes it really affordable, whether you go to Starbucks or not. You know,
and because of that, folks, you know, you guys, most of y'all have been with me for a long, long time. Okay, so you know I'm a straight shooter, and you know I'm honest. Listen, and you also know I used to be licensed to diagnose crazy, right? Okay, when I was a counseling psychologist. You are crazy if you don't get the monthly. All of Mike's stuff ever, plus the $97 streaming, not screaming, streaming content creator. I mean, come on. It's just nuts not to. And Mike, the I'm glad Thomas Anderson is shown back up again. And to quote, I will quote this person after I read it. I know I've got the right to remain silent. I just don't have the ability. Thank you, Ron White.
I've been accused of looking like him a few times.
All you need is a cigar and
a glass of scotch.
But you'd have to put water in it.
You caught him. You caught the tater.
That's right. Do you remember his skit about when he was up in Alaska or somewhere to do a show, and he had to go across this rickety old bridge, and the speed limit was 5 miles an hour? You remember the story? No. And he got pulled over by the police, and he was giving him stuff, and he goes, you know, if you keep at it, Mr. White, you know, I can arrest you and throw you in jail. And he goes, oh, please arrest me and throw me in jail for going 8 miles an hour in a 5 mile an hour speed limit. I'll make $1 million off that. So there you go. There you go.
Have the right to remain silent, but I don't have the authority. I was thrown into public. I was drunk in a bar. All right, we're digressing.
Yes, we are.
Anybody have any serious questions, or me and Jeff will reminisce about Ron White because of Thomas?
Yeah, last call for questions. But I want to focus back on something Donna said in the very beginning of all this. Don't apologize, Thomas. It's hilarious. That it was so great to see Mike and Jeff together again. You know, Mike, maybe we ought to do more stuff like this.
Well, if we got something to say, you know, I felt like that this was something. Hopefully, you can share this video with folks, and they will get some value out of it. And
I know a way to get us both together again. Thank you, Donna Kimbrand. Mike, will you be a guest on the Content Profit Show? Will you have a Content Profit seat?
Of course, whatever you need.
Cool. We are booked almost through April, but we'll get you in. Unlimited attendee.
Yes, because you're using social media systems which have unlimited views.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You can have millions of views and do it.
Thank you, Donna. You guys always have valuable things to say. Thank you. So to answer your question, why key Hui? I hope if I got that right.
I wasn't about to attempt that. So,
But I have no shame, so I'll try it. And if I got it right, wrong, he or she will let me know. I hope. Anyway, right now, even as we speak, even as y'all are asking questions, and again, this is the last call for questions. If you got them, type them in now. We are broadcasting here into the webinar platform of StreamYard. Okay. I could, if I wanted to, I just haven't tested it out yet, broadcast it live into a page on my website. But right now we're doing it here on StreamYard. We're doing it on my Facebook profile, on my Facebook, free Facebook Content Profit Show group, my paid Content Profit Nation Facebook group, YouTube, the Content Profit Show YouTube account, and into Twitter all at once. Okay, so your reach is pretty much limitless when you add all those together. And as I scroll down here, Mike, I see people with the duck by their name. That means they're on the come on, Jeff, the StreamYard. Yeah, I see people on Facebook. I see people on YouTube.
yeah.
And here's the other thing. Thank you for asking that question, because guess what? All of those platforms, whether they're asking the question on the StreamYard webinar or YouTube group, I mean, Facebook groups or YouTube sites or Twitter, the questions are showing up here. Okay. And so you've got all these questions coming in from all these people, just like you guys are. So thank you.
Well, this has been fun, Jeff. Let's let these folks have time to go do what they want to do. And my recommendation is come join the party.
Go get this stuff, folks, at streamingcontentcreator.com/Jeff. And as always, you know what to do. Go use this stuff. And Thomas says it's called leverage. That's one of the ways we ought to talk about StreamYard, Mike, is it's the ultimate online leverage. Write that down. Thank you, Thomas. Let's give Thomas a hand. Yay.
Yay.
All right. We'll catch y'all next time, folks.
Bye.
Go use this stuff. Wait. I almost forgot, Mike.
What?
I have outro music.
Well, don't not use it.
I know.